Hello, my name is Dhruti and I'm going to guide you through a business case for BYOD for our company. And here is something about BYOD. In the consumerization of IT, BYOD is a phrase that has become widely adopted to refer to employees who bring their own device such as smartphone, laptop and PDAs to the workplace for the use and connectivity on the corporate network. And the next slide says about the utilization of BYOD. Today, IT people face rapid change in their own business and challenging problems. So for that, new software have been developed and new devices are introduced to protect their customer, company, employees, and from the cyber criminals who hack the system. The second thing is BYOD encompasses more than personal computers. Employees use their own iPhone, BlackBerry, tablets, Ultrabook, and so many other things for their work. And the third one is about few years ago, due to the lack of technological development, it didn't come up, but today it has given broad view related to web, wireless and mobile tools. Through wireless and web, you can get all the information related to the business activities no matter where you are. There are some risks of BYOD. The first one is talking about the range of devices, which makes uniform regulation difficult for IT departments. The second one is about lack of encryption on customer data. The last one says about the device fall outside the firewall, in which when employees leave the company, they have all information on their phone and through which there is possibility of information getting leaked out in the market. Here there are some defense of BYOD like mobile device management to wipe sensitive data when devices are stolen or lost. The second one is about enforcing strong passcodes on all devices. And the third one says the full disk encryption for disk. And the last one is about the removable media and cloud storage. And here is the instance of the Coca-Cola company, which experienced the last year that they were hit with the $21 million of after court judgment that the Coca-Cola truck driver who was talking on her cell phone while driving struck a Texas woman. The most noticeable risk is about sexting and forms of sexual harassment. 40% of adults up to the age of 34 admit to sexting or sending sexually explicit text message from their own phone at workplace to their employees. Here there are some experience of other companies with the BYOD. The first one is Middle East, which has the highest adoption rate of 80% of the practice in the 2012. The second is Intel, who first introduced BYOD for their employees in 2009. The third one is the Apple company, who is experiencing a greater advantage of BYOD in their company. For instance, Apple company has adopted a BYOD program for iPhone and iPad, which allow the IT group to expand and enhance their user experience, and as well as it manages their cost. And the last one says about the CISCO, which has adopted the BYOD program, which fits into its mobile culture. The CISCO use WebEx Social, web-based collaboration platform aimed at socializing and supporting the BYOD community. Here there are some pros of BYOD. One of the most important advantage of BYOD is cost benefit associated with providing device to the employees. The second one says about the familiarity. The employees will get familiar with their own device and software as they will start using them at the workplaces. For instance, Apple products says that instead of using just Microsoft only, they have enforced the policy which gives a freedom of choice and benefit to the employee to use their own devices. The third one is about the new technology. Employees will be updated with all latest technology and software on their mobile device, on their laptop or on their iPad. The fourth one says about the employee care. As the employee use their own device, they'll take the extra care as they use the device at their workplace, even at their home, so there are less chance of damaging to their device. The last one is about the choice. As the employees select their own device of their own choice, which gives them great satisfaction, which increases the passion of work, and also it increases the productivity of our business. There are some cons of BYOD, and the first one says about the data security. This could be the biggest worry for the organization about implementing BYOD system. As we can see that BYOD is a new concept for business, so there is no clear-cut best policy to maintain the business data, and securing them for maintaining them, it raises the unwanted cost. And the second one is cost. At one point, cost is not a big reason to be worried about, as it is considered as an advantage for a company. But some company who purchase the device for employees will cost them expensive, and it will be very expensive even to use the data plans with those devices. And the third one says about the privacy. Employees who bring their own device are worried about their privacy in company. As a computer they use to surf on web and to log into Facebook and Twitter and other social networking sites are worried about their password to be hacked by other employees. Here we can manage our BYOD by using 4 steps, and the first step is about define device. Back in early 2000 we can just say that the Blackberries were only the option. But now we have multitude of phones capable of being used in workplace. For instance, tablet, iPad, smartphones, and Android phones. The second step is about the reduced security risk. Usually a security policy for BYOD entails that a device must have a complicated multi-character password to access a phone information. Some businesses ensure that the personal data of an employee is securely backed up through the cloud computing, so that if a wipe occurs, the personal data of an employee is safe. Step 3 says about moderate workplace usage. While forming a BYOD policy, some questions are being raised by the employees. Can they use Facebook while at work? Are apps that can potentially interact with the business end of device allowed? So the answer to them is they should be careful to limit talk time, messaging, and data downloads over the personal device through corporate network, because those can seriously rack up the monthly charges for wireless data usage. And the step 4 says about the build your backup plan. Employees should have an escape plan. If an employee leaves the workplace, you will want to be able to have authority to remove apps, data, and information from a device. The infrastructure required for BYOD is application virtualization. By delivering web-based application from a central server, IT improves manageability, compatibility, and probability of application. The second one says about the desktop virtualization. A client-server environment allows the ID to manage all devices remotely from a central server. The third one is about network segmentation. By segmenting assets, resources, and application in secure compartment, ID can increase security and can limit access. The fourth one says about the network access control. Connecting to the network via NAC allows IT to create a tiered access based on device identification. This also allows IT to monitor and track all devices connected to a network. And the last one says about the managed bandwidth allocation. Network bandwidth must be monitored, managed, and scaled as needed based on the current and projected use. Here is the financial cash flow, which could be useful for our company. We have got the total improvement from BYOD from the relevant benefits, and we have total cost from our relevant cost. And Deducting the total improvements from total cost will get the cash flow. Here is the graph which shows the 6 years cash flow. In this graph we can see the revenue is being increased and the cost is stagnant. And there are 3 scenarios related to the financial cash flow. In the first one you can see that the NPV is $1.46, while the payback period is 5 years and the internal rate of return, which is IRR, is 12%, and the profitability index is 1.145. In the second scenario you can see that NPV is $13.92, but the payback period is 3 years and the IRR is 37%, and the profitability index is 2.39. In the third scenario we can see that we have got NPV in negative, which is minus 9.18, and the payback period for third scenario is 4 years, and the IRR, which is 27%, and profitability index is just 1.87. The sensitivity analysis for the 3 scenarios can be measured on the basis of cost of capital, which has stepped up by 20%. Eventually, from the 3 scenarios, we can say that the second scenario would be the constructive one for our company. Here you can see the second scenario. The NPV is highest among all the 3 scenarios, and even the IRR is highest among all. And I have concluded from the BYOD is 95% of them have already adopted BYOD since 2012, and the associated risk of BYOD are quite manageable, and it allows full flexibility of using their own device at the workplace. BYOD provides a huge employee satisfaction at the workplace, which could increase their own productivity. The lesson I have learned from this case is the risk adjustment, which has proven significant for this case, and the independent on the adoption of new software. They can learn on their own device without relying on other people. And the last one is about sensitivity analysis, which helps to analyze both critical and flexible cost. Thank you for your time and consideration. Have a good day.